And I think you get this as an Asian person. Like, there's a specific way to do life, right? Life is a series of check boxes where it's like,
oh yeah,
right? You go to this school, right? Or this tier of school. You get these degrees. You get this type of job. You meet this type of person.
Yeah.
You marry this type of person. You have kids. You make your kids be these kinds of kids, right? Because you can obviously force them to do whatever you want them to do, and if they don't do it, you just beat them, right? You have a certain kind of life, and you check off these boxes, and that's like how you can be a good person and have a good life, right? And then any kind of ideas outside of that are just off the table. We just don't even consider that there's more than one way to live. I grew up in a really like repressive kind of family and religion. It's like so many times growing up, you're taught like, ignore what's in your head, ignore what's in your heart. I will tell you what to think. I will tell you what to believe. I will tell you what to do. And with my divorce, that was like, I always say it was like one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it was like the catalyst for reevaluating all of these assumptions in my life. An audience, right, pre-filters themselves for you. So by the time you're in the room, right, like they kind of know what they're showing up for, and they're like excited because you're their brand of weird. Honestly, people gonna be upset at you all the time in this game. I mean, I just think being a person alive and having any kind of opinion today, people gonna be upset. You know, so it's like if you're doing this so people will like love you, this is not the way. Like, it's just not the way. Because regardless of any opinion you have, there's always going to be like 100 other motherfuckers that have like the opposite opinion of you, and they're going to come for you. Get on stage, I'm going to say whatever I want. And like, you can be mad at me about it, but like for my 5-10 minutes or whatever, like I've got the mic and I'm just going to tell you what I think, and you can go fuck yourself. Like, you know.
Crystal was giving me advice that I should get canceled everyone, so I'll at least get famous, because, you know.
Hey, that's the fastest way now, right? You get canceled, and then you'll get invited onto 50 other podcasts to talk about being canceled. Everyone likes you. It's not that you're like so nice. It's just that you're hella boring. I mean, like, if you look at, for instance, like Hasan Minhaj's special Homecoming King, like, I think, like, I mean, there's a lot of parts of that, right, that are not funny, right? That are very, like, very sad. And he's, like, willing to go into that space, like, with you. And he's willing to, like, let the show have that, like, dip, you know? And trusting that he can, like, bring it back with other jokes. And that, I think, is, like, that's a really next level thing, you know? To have that willingness. And I think that's kind of like one of that part where like we're moving away from like traditional stand-up of being like joke, right? Where it's like performance art and it's storytelling. And I really appreciate the comics that are willing to play in that sort of gray space. And I really want to get there, but I know I'm like super not there. Maybe I just need more therapy or something.
Crystal, Sue, Miss Sue.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We were just talking about what a lovely attire you're wearing.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay, now that's creepy. That's creepy.
Crystal was giving me advice that I should get canceled everyone, so I'll at least get famous, because, you know, that's a better idea than...
Hey, that's the fastest way now, right? You get canceled, and then you'll get invited onto 50 other podcasts to talk about being canceled.
This was Crystal's here from Anaheim. She's an Angelino, half Chinese, half Taiwanese.
Yes.
And she hosts at the Hollywood Comedy.
Yes.
How long have you been there, Crystal?
Oh wow, like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years.
Producing there for a while.
Yeah, about 2 years as well. I think I started hosting, like, I was that big wave of hosts that they hired, like, right after the pandemic. So that was, like, 2022-ish, early 2022-ish. So I've been producing there, like, since about, like, April 2022.
She sounds like an interesting character.
Oh, yeah. She's special, for sure.
She's also super young.
Oh, yeah. I think she's, like, early 30s?
Yeah. Man, I'd love to have enough money to buy a comedy club.
Just marry rich. I think that's how she did it.
Oh,
Although no, now they're divorced, so she actually is like fully like the owner of the club.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. She even used to have another spot in Pasadena that didn't quite work out. Yeah. I just think like to do comedy, you have to have that like certain willingness to grind and to just do things with really shitty ROI on them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're gonna give me like 5 minutes at like a crappy dive bar in the valley on a Wednesday night. Like, I'm there, fam. Like, I'm gonna leave my house like 3 hours early to get there for the 5 minutes and then, you know, spend like $20 on drinks and then not get paid and then roll back on to Anaheim at like 9 o'clock. Like, like any rational person would not do comedy.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, like in my day job, like I have like a very corporate job. I'm a project manager. I do Excel sheets. Like I think like within comedy, I'm probably like one of the people who is a little more put together. But I just I just tell everyone like anytime you meet a comic, like they are like deeply unhinged in some way. Because any like high functioning like normal rational person just like doesn't do comedy. Because when you like do the math on like your time investment, your money investment, this makes zero sense.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, like it's really weird to me, especially like being a native Los Angelino, when I like meet these people who are from like these like little like podunk towns and they like move here and they're like, you know, I'm gonna be like rich and I'm gonna be famous like doing comedy, and it's like, no, like there's better ways to achieve that. Like start an OnlyFans, like find a sugar daddy, like, you know, invest in crypto. There's much faster and cheaper and easier ways to be rich and famous than doing this.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess we just do it for the love of it.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Is you just have to like love the process. You have to love the journey, because there's people who somehow make this into a career, or you know, that's not the norm. Honestly, people gonna be upset at you all the time in this game. I mean, I just think being a person alive and having any kind of opinion today, people gonna be upset. Yeah. You know? So it's like if you're doing this so people will like love you, this is not the way. Like it's just not the way. Because regardless of any opinion you have, there's always gonna be like 100 other motherfuckers that have like the opposite opinion of you, and they're gonna come for you. My rebellion of being like, I'm gonna get on stage, I'm gonna say whatever I want, and like you can be mad at me about it, but like for my 5-10 minutes or whatever, like I've got the mic and I'm just gonna tell you what I think, and you can go fuck yourself. Like, you know,
you can't be too people pleasing.
Oh no. I mean, what's the saying? Like, if everyone likes you, it's not that you're like so nice, it's just that you're hella boring. There's just nothing to anchor onto, you know. Everyone who is like a real artist, right? I mean, and I do see this as artistry. I know not everyone approaches comedy that way, and I know we're just, a lot of times it's a bunch of dick jokes and maybe it doesn't seem like it's artistry, but I really think of myself, I mean, I do think of myself as an artist, it's just that my medium is dick jokes. You know, any great artists, they were very like alienating. They were very polarizing. They're not for everyone. That's not what art is supposed to be. It's not supposed. I mean, there are some people, I guess, they draw like cute cat photos, or they do mainstream stuff. But like, if you think about like who you admire, right, as the comic, or even if you go out to other mediums like writing or painting or whatever, those people were not like for everyone. There's you know, there's people who are like, oh, Picasso's a genius, and there are people who are like, what's wrong with his fucking face? You know? Like, so I just don't think that pleasing everybody is the goal, you know? I mean, if you look at like these big comics, right, that have careers, there's a level where they've already filtered out their audience as they were coming up, right? Like when you buy a ticket to see like Chris Rock, you know what Chris Rock stands for. If you don't like Chris Rock stuff, you don't go to his show or whatever, right? But you know, but that's because he's like a known quantity. But I mean, like people who like Gabriel Iglesias are not people that like, generally speaking, that like someone like an Andrew Dice Clay. You know, those are different niches. So that's kind of like the business side of comedy, right? Where you're like trying to get known enough so that the audience, right, pre-filters themselves for you. So by the time you're in the room, right, like they kind of know what they're showing up for, and they're like excited because you're their brand of weird.
Man, this is like flowing like water. Do you think about this stuff a lot? I'm sorry, I'm just on the camera.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I love being on stage, and I love being on podcasts and things, because this is like my chance to do my hot takes that I don't get to do in real life, when I gotta be like professional or I gotta get along with people or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think like there's a fundamental level where like any kind of job, right, is essentially like problem solving. You're solving like a kind of problem. And I think for me, like what's exciting about comedy is like I think of it as an intellectual challenge of like, how do you put together the puzzle of a joke, right? Because you're solving a problem. Like, how do I make this funnier? Like, how do I make this bigger? So I just kind of apply that same thinking to like sort of like the business and promotional side of it. Like, I'm not even gonna front like I'm the person that like has this figured out. I mean, I'm obviously not someone with like millions of followers. Like, I'm still just like another nobody comic, like grinding it out in LA. But, you know, if you're trying to like build your brand or build an audience, or I mean, mainly I think about it, I think from the perspective of having a show and trying to fill that room and trying to give the comics like a really good platform to do their work. But also like I want people coming to the show to be happy with that experience, right? So I think about it from that level of like, how do I get people in this room? And then once they're in this room, like how do they come away from this like having had a good experience? Or I mean, like if you look at, for instance, like Hasan Minhaj's special Homecoming King, like I think like, I mean, there's a lot of parts of that, right, that are not funny, right? That are very like, very sad. And he's like willing to go into that space like with you, and he's willing to like let the show have that like dip, you know, and trusting that he can like bring it back with other jokes. And that I think is like, that's a really next level thing, you know, to have that willingness. And I think that's kind of like the one of that part where like we're moving away from like traditional stand-up of being like joke, right? Where it's like performance art and it's storytelling. And I really appreciate the comics that are willing to play in that sort of gray space. And I really want to get there, but I know I'm like super not there. Maybe I just need more therapy or something.
But you're already doing it. You've been doing that for a while. But you're saying that you wish you were better at talking about your divorce, or?
I mean, I can do it in personal, like in personal conversations, but like on stage to like get into it, I'm like 100% not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was like my first little like baby toe like dip into the water.
Yeah. No, I thought it was cool because, you know, you don't see a lot of people being forthcoming about it.
It's really weird because I think if you look at like older eras of stand-up, like 80s and 90s, when it was like a bunch of like middle-aged men, people talked about like marriage and divorce all the time. And I think it's just a function of like now so few people get married. And also like comics tend to be like a little bit younger, right? Yeah. And so it's kind of weird now to be somebody like that has had these kinds of experiences, and then most of my peers in comedy like haven't.
Oh, that's true.
And it's a really strong contrast to my own personal life because like I'm like from a family that's like very like religious and very like conservative. Yeah, I grew up very Christian. So I get that whole like vibe of being like very like, what would Jesus do? Oh, nice. My mom is still like very religious and will like end phone calls with like, I pray for you every day. Like, you know?
Super religious.
Yeah, I mean, or like when I go to her house, like we pray before like we eat meals. Yeah, she goes to church like 3 times a week. I have like a lot of
Christmas.
Like no, she goes like 3 times like a week. She has like Bible study. No, she has like Bible study. She has like prayer meeting. They have like regular church. Like they have like special meetings for like missionaries. Right. Like no, like she's like, my family is like legit religious. Yeah.
Which ones did they go to?
God, I don't know. I grew up in South Bay, so my mom's always gone to like these like Asian churches in like
cool.
Torrance and PV and.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so.
You grew up around those churches?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a church kid.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like, yeah, I was like really involved. People, I think people who knew me growing up, and if they met me now, they'd be like really shocked, and vice versa. Because like when I meet people now, and then I tell them like, oh no, like I used to like go to church like 3 times a week, and I used to like, I would like be in college and be like in the cafeteria like praying before like I eat over my tater tots, you know, or like my crappy like like college cafeteria meal. I used to like
I love tater tots.
Straight up, there was like a year in high school where like I committed to like praying for like a new person like every week, and I would like call people and I'd be like, do you have like prayer requests? And I had like a little notebook and I would write down their prayer requests and I would pray for them every day for like a week. Like that's how religious I was.
Have you strayed from the path?
Obviously. I think that part is pretty obvious.
Oh.
God. Yeah, I mean...
Have you had random sex?
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Was it a Catholic church?
No. It was like... It wasn't like a specific denomination, but I would say the closest is like Baptist. You have like gut reactions to things that happen around you, right? You feel it in your body, right? Like your chest tightens or like your stomach drops or like you feel your blood pressure, right? Like raising. And I think like a big thing for me as like an Asian person, as a woman, as someone who grew up in a really like repressive kind of family and religion, it's like so many times growing up, you're taught like, ignore what's in your head, ignore what's in your heart. I will tell you what to think. I will tell you what to believe. I will tell you what to do. And with my divorce, that was like, I always say it was like one of the best things that ever happened to me because it was like the catalyst for reevaluating all of these assumptions in my life and all of these things that I had believed. And a lot of people that were like in my life that I just like, well, I have to deal with them or I have to accept them or I like can't kick them out, right? And I was like, wait, no, I can have boundaries, right? Like I can set limits for myself. And because it was just like, I'm getting to a place where like, I literally can't keep living like this because like I'm feeling the effects like in my body. I'm feeling like my mental health is really, really poor, right? Like to the point where it's like I'm thinking like very not good thoughts, right? You know? So like I just got to a place where it's like I can't deny my own reality anymore. You know, so I'm still unpacking like, okay, when someone says something to me and then I feel a feeling in my body, like what is that feeling? Is it like I'm irritated? Is it just like low level irritation? Is it that I feel shame? Or is it that I feel like anger? Or, you know, what is that? And like unpacking that. And I think that's like a really important skill for everybody to have because you're constantly like, your body is actually like really, really like intelligent, right? In its own way. And I think a lot of people, I mean, at least myself, have been taught like to ignore that and have learned how to deny that. But like you do it at your own detriment.
Yeah, there was a lot to unpack today.
Hey, you wanted to go here, right?
So who were the people who you feel like you kind of, you know, overcame that? Was it like your parents, like, or your...
Oh my God, like so many. I mean, obviously, like my ex-husband and I had like a super toxic relationship, so that was like donezo.
Yeah. Was it Korean?
No.
No. Okay.
So it's so cliche. They were white.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. How long were you married?
We were married for like 2 years, but we were together for like 7.
Oh
yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Super Christian?
You know, it's funny because he wasn't Christian when I met him, but he became Christian because of me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's my flex.
You're a super evangelist.
That was like our like Christian love story is like, see, Jesus and love can conquer all.
Wow.
Or I don't know, that's just how bad he wanted that Asian pussy, I guess. Like,
you use the trap of marriage to convert somebody to Christian.
I know, right? I'm so gangsta, right? I'm so gangsta.
Yeah, it is about the pussy. Right. We were talking about your parents. No.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, like I had a lot of like friends, that like I have very different friends than I used to. I think I had a lot of friends that were like in that same mindset of like that I used to be in. And so I'm not even like blaming them, but like, so I had a lot of friends who were in that same sort of mindset, right? Because I was in that mindset. And so when I was deviating off this path of like, oh yeah, wait, no, like my marriage is really bad and I'm trying to not be depressed or to unalive myself over the next however many decades because we still got a long way to go because I'm only 30. A lot of them just really couldn't wrap their brain around that, So all of those friends had to go. I mean, my mom was in the same boat as well. And she was just, she's like an Asian mom, but like just really, really didn't attempt to support me or understand the decision. So we actually stopped talking for like I had to. It wasn't like a thing where I was like, oh, this is super fun. It was just like, she was just being so like aggressively mean to me about it. And I was already like in a really bad place, like mentally, that I was like, I can't like hear any more of this because like I'm seriously gonna like have problems. So yeah, I stopped talking to her, like I think straight up for like maybe like 3 years or something. And then we were like on a very like low contact kind of low information diet for maybe another like 7 years. So yeah, there was about 10 years where I just really kept her at arm's length because I just didn't feel like mentally strong to deal with the things I knew she would say.
Oh, they were like overbearing, the criticism?
I mean, it was just, she just didn't accept it at all. I mean...
Disagreeing with what you were doing.
Yeah, I mean, my mom is someone who really... I think she like has a lot of like insecurity and it was like very easy. I think it's very easy for her to like project that onto other people. And as her daughter, it's very easy for her to project that onto me. So there was kind of a sense of like, she kind of took this position of like, which is one she's always had my entire life of like, you're wrong. Like you're always wrong. Like you're a project. I have to fix you. Right. So this was just an extension of that where it's like, I don't know any of the facts, but I've decided like you're the reason that your marriage is ending. And so I'm going to like double down really hard on trying to tell you all the things that I think are bad about you so you can fix your marriage. And it was like, yeah, that's, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I will never ever tell you that I think I'm perfect. But like to come at me like you don't even understand like why this isn't working or why I'm unhappy, and then to just decide like I'm the reason that this is not working.
Right. Obviously not true.
Yeah, is really uncompassionate, right? And if you want to go to this other place, which like, and this is I think like part of why I've like always taken some issue with like Christianity as it is practiced by a lot of Christians, right? Is that there are a lot of people that say they're Christian, but then do not practice any of these Christian values. And the core Christian value, right, is like love and compassion toward other people. And so I'm like, okay, you're like, my mom is like, tries to be like the most Christian of Christian people. And it's like, right now you can't even show love and compassion toward your own daughter. So like, what does that say about your Christianity and your value system? Like there's something very like broken in that. And it's like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to like perpetuate those kinds of like negative feelings as much as I do love to judge people so much. And it's really fun, right? It's really fun to judge people. I'm really trying to be a less judgmental person and I don't want to judge her. I know she has like all of her other like issues from, trauma from, her family and, they escaped like communists in China and, my grandfather was like a shit dad and like a shit husband. So she has like her own stuff. So that's like the thing where sometimes like when people are assholes to you, like it's really easy to take it personally, right? It's really easy to feel like you did something or you deserve their assholery. But a lot of times it's not about you, it's like about them.
Yeah, it's true. And how about the dad?
Oh, my father passed away when I was really young.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a
yeah.
single mom.
Yeah. So it was just me and my mom growing up. So yeah, that was like super fun.
No siblings?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's why she is even more like that.
Yeah.
You're the only one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Man, there's a lot to unpack there. Thanks for that, Crystal.
This is what you wanted, right?
Yeah. That's what I wanted. Yeah. So I guess we didn't talk about this. We talked about it before the camera started rolling. You're going to a wedding today.
Yes, I am going to a wedding.
Yeah. Your cousin's getting married to a Korean girl.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How old is your cousin?
Oh God, he's like, I want to say, I'm so bad. He's like early 30s. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of family here in LA?
A good amount. Yeah. Everyone from my family kind of like came through LA when they first like moved here, and people have sort of like filtered out, but there's still like a core group of us here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like aunts, uncles.
Yeah, extended family. So I think growing up, it was nice that we had a little bit of like a wider net. You know, we'd have like Christmases or you know, other dinners where it would be like, you know, a big group of us. You know.
Like Chinese New Year. No, you don't show it.
You know what's so bad is like my family's like not that Chinese. So yeah, we like didn't really do Chinese New Year consistently. Okay. Yeah. And there's like a lot of these like traditions that I've like learned about like reading about on the internet, or other people have brought them up, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to eat oranges. Okay.
Oh,
like,
you really oranges? That's pretty cool.
Well, you know, they have like, they symbolize kind of like roundness and wholeness. So
like
usually,
mooncakes.
oh, that's
that's
the lunar. Yeah, that's a different one. That's the Mid-Autumn Festival.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I think also because like my grandparents in Taiwan were Christians, so there's a lot of ways my family is not that traditional. And there's ways I like it and I enjoy it. Like I would say my family is like way less racist than most Asian families.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, the fact that there's so many Korean people in our family is already right, like a pretty like
that's pretty progressive.
Yeah, for like these OG Asian families, right?
Yeah, we don't hate each other. Yeah, that's why I was surprised when you mentioned it earlier. I was like, it's not really common.
Like no one in my family, like my generation and down, has married another Chinese person. It's really wild. No one. It's all been like, it's all white or Korean. Yeah, I don't know how that works, but that's like all the in-laws are white or Korean. Yeah.
And there's two options here. I was gonna ask you, your ex-husband, where did you meet?
Oh, we met through friends.
Okay.
Yeah, he was going to college with some of my high school friends.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And are you dating now? Oh, you mentioned it in your set, actually.
Okay, like dating-ish.
Yeah.
Like I got on okay, so I was in a 7-year relationship that ended like at the end of 2022.
Yeah.
And then I kind of took 2023 off. I had a lot of other stuff going on in my personal life, so it just kind of like made sense to just give it a minute. And then I downloaded like 2 apps or something in January, and I got on those, and then I had fun for like a month. And then I was like, oh yeah, no, this is why no one likes this. Yeah.
Which app?
Hinge, which I'm still sort of like, I'll get bored and swipe on it like every other week. And then Bumble, which I just like completely stopped using. Okay, I don't want to be sexist, but I'm gonna be sexist right now. Men are very lazy in general. Very, very lazy, right? So it's like, at least on most of the apps, like there's some percentage of men that understand like they need to like send you a message or like do some basic bare level of like effort into the connection. But on Bumble, because it's like women have to initiate, the laziness is just like on a whole another level.
Really?
Yeah. So I was just like, I'm not about this. So I still use it because they have like the best friends portal, and they have like, I mean, I don't use the networking one, but like people keep telling me that I should.
Career,
But I do sometimes use the BFF.
Yeah.
Although it's funny because I'm going to say the BFF is actually a lot like dating too, where it's like, oh, like, yeah, this is like a lot more effort and a lot more disappointing than I was expecting, even though it's just like finding other girls to hang out with. I mean, I will admit, I met like one person that I'm still like pretty good friends with.
That's pretty unheard of.
Yeah, out of what, like 50 women, like I've tried to be friends with. But it's like the same shit where it's like you like chit chat for a minute and then you're like, hey, like maybe let's go like do a thing, and then it just like falls apart. Yeah. So
that's true.
I don't know. It's really weird to me. Like I'm at this age, right, where it's like I remember the before times, right? Before like the internet and before social media, like just dominated everybody's life. And then I'm like still pretty young and I'm seeing the after times, and it's just like really wild because it's like this was supposed to make everybody's life better and it is definitively not.
Yeah. No, I know you're right. But I feel like most adult relationships just fizzle out now. Like it's not like, I feel like that with any relationship nowadays.
I mean, it's tough because I just think like we have a society now where people don't have like anchor points in the same way. Like one of the reasons why I understand like church is so powerful, right? And why like so many, I mean, I have like friends and stuff from church days that still go to church like all the time. It's not just like my mom or whatever. It's like people our age or whatever.
Your childhood friends.
It's like because it gives you a community. It gives you a network. It makes you feel like you belong somewhere.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that becomes more important than the religion part of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've totally met people that I don't even think they really believe.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't. I sincerely don't, right?
They just go for the community.
Yeah, they just like the people, and they like that it gives them an automatic group of friends. And I swear, like, I feel like every church has like at least like one super like toxic person that like everybody hates, but because of Jesus they feel like obligated to put up with them. And if that person didn't go to church, they would have like no friends. I mean, agree or disagree? Right, agree. Yeah. Every single freaking Christian person I know that regularly goes to church can name one person that everyone at their church hates and just puts up with because that's what Jesus would do.
Oh.
Yeah. Every church got a Judas.
Yeah.
The goal is that, like, I'll let you get up there, and unless you really say something, like, too far, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll let you do your 5 minutes you paid or whatever. I mean, I know a lot of people say things to work stuff out, and they don't truly mean it. But when I get back up there, it will not go unaddressed. I am going to find a way to fight. I'm going to fight fire with fire. I'm going to roast you so hard that you're never going to want to come back in this room and say this shit again. And that's how I deal with it. And I think that's, because I just think if you, as a comic, right, like, you want the right to say whatever you want, but then you need to be cool with other people saying whatever they want, right? You want to say like free speech, then you got to uphold free speech. And this is why when we were talking earlier about cancellation, I hate that whole line of dialogue about cancel culture. Because all that is people like being mad that people aren't agreeing with them. And if you're like a comic that's worth your salt, you should be able to handle people disagreeing with you, because this is what this is all day. It's you have an opinion, they have an opinion. You have an opinion, they have an opinion. If you don't like this, get the fuck out of the pool.
So you're saying that it's unfair for that comic to go up there, say whatever weird shit, and then not be able to take it.
Yeah.
Take the bad feeling. Okay. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I never really thought. I'm usually really concerned about being nice. I'm not sure if you
Yeah, I got that. You get that vibe
yeah,
from me.
I know. But that makes total sense that why you should do that. Like once you get the mic back, okay. Yeah, yeah. Now that you've done that, yeah, yeah, I'm entitled to have reacted this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's funny because like the people who say like the worst shit
Yeah.
are the people who cannot handle
take it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the lowest level of roast.
Yeah.
Because there's at this point, I've been doing this so long, I actually have like a couple that are just like in my back pocket that
Yeah.
I just throw them out there. And like some of them will be honestly like they're not like genius smart roasts. They're things about dude's dick being small or
Yeah.
something. You know, these are like very, very like baby roasts.
Yeah.
And these guys sometimes, sorry, it's always a guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
will be so butthurt that they'll even like say something to me after about like, oh, that really burned. And I was like, that?
Yeah.
That you just had this whole thing about like, you know, like sexual violence and about like being racist to people, and you said like way worse shit than me, and I just said your dick was small, and your little feelings your feelings are hurt, owie, you know, like what the hell, you know? So I mean, I don't, to me that's like, those are like my like treasured memories of doing comedy that I hold in my heart forever. Of when I hurt like some shitty male comic's feelings.
No, I think it's well deserved. In our defense, I think women tend to be more emotionally resilient, and men actually tend to unravel.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
totally.
I read somewhere that.
Yeah.
Because women deal with it at a much earlier age, or they just get it much earlier than men do.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have a choice. It's just like people are constantly telling you that you need to accommodate other people and you need to put your feelings on the side and think about other people and have empathy and blah, blah, blah. So you get really, you know, you just have like so many years of practice of like navigating all of these like weird situations. You know, and I'm not going to say I've always been perfect. And I would say as far as women are concerned, I'm probably one of the less diplomatic ones, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, just because like I get angry really easily, and I'm sometimes like, I just like, I know I'm being very aggressive, and I just don't even fucking care. You know, like I just give myself more permission to express anger than a lot of women, and I get labeled a bitch a lot, and I'm just like, whatever, like I don't care. Like I'm so tired of like all the years where like I held my tongue and I tried to be nice, and it didn't, and that's the thing, is like it didn't fucking get me anywhere. You know, all it did, it was like enable other people to like hurt me and cross my boundaries. It didn't, you know, like, so either way you're fucked. Yeah. So you might as well just like say your piece, and then at least you feel like you had, you know, you weren't like just taking it. Yeah. You know? So, yeah, I mean, whereas men, I mean, society just like, especially I think Asian culture really babies men. And there's a lot of like catering to them and like, you know, don't upset them. And like, I mean, when I was married, my mom would always be like, you know, you need to be a good wife and you need to do this and you need to do that, you know? And I'm just like, fucking A, like he's a grown ass. It's wild to me because it's like, okay, men want to be like, oh, like, I'm a man, I'm a grown-ass man. But then it's like, oh, but your grown-ass, like, can't, like, fucking remember your mom's birthday and buy her a gift. Like, your grown-ass can't, like, pick up socks off the floor. Your grown-ass can't, like, make a doctor appointment by yourself. It's like, what, like, the cognitive dissonance in society with patriarchy is just, like, really, really wild to me. Yeah. You know, where it's like, oh, you want to be in charge and you want to be in control. But then, like, you can't handle your own shit. Yeah. Like, the most basic level shit, you know? And, like, I mean, like, when I was watching those, like, Brett Kavanaugh hearings, I'm like, we're gonna let this motherfucker, like, make choices about the law forever? He can't even keep it together. This is a job interview. And he's, like, going crazy. Yeah. You know, so that part of being a woman is just, like, every fucking day is rage bait.
Yeah.
Like every
Rage
fucking
bait.
day,
That's
every
awesome.
interaction is just rage bait.
Yeah. Are you saying that your ex was like that though? He couldn't handle the shit or not?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. And the thing is, like, what's sad is that so many hetero women
Yeah.
are like mommying
Yeah.
their partners, and like what a lot of these guys don't get is like, I can be your mom or I can fuck you, but I'm not into incest, so I can't be your mom and fuck you. So you gotta make a choice.
Yeah.
And I think we both would prefer that there's fucking and not mommying,
Yeah.
right? You know, but a lot of guys, like, I don't know, like, it's really odd where, like, society has progressed really, really fast in certain ways, and women have been, like, kind of, like, keeping up.
Yeah.
And I don't see that among men. I
Yeah.
really don't. And there's, like, so many women, and this is, like, to kind of go back to the dating thing, where I'm like, is this even worth it?
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll just, like, do me, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not looking for, like, a project. Like, I have a lot on my plate. Like,
You are a project manager.
Yes, I am a project manager, but that's not the kind of, that's not the kind of project I want.
Yeah.
That's, the ROI on that is not good.
That's true.
Yeah, so.
I think I resonate that a lot of people feel the way that you're feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of women who are just, like, single by choice because the choices available are not great. And I just, like, I really wish it wasn't that way. And I feel bad saying these things sometimes, but that's just, like, what I see, you know? Like, and there's no pattern. Like, I wanted, like, I thought, like, oh, maybe, like, at one point I dated a man who was, like, older than me, right? Like, more than 10 years. And I thought, like, oh, maybe, like, this guy has his shit together because he's, like, an adult man.
Yeah.
It's like, no, not him. Like, you know, like, there's no pattern, right? It's just, I don't know what's up with dudes. Terry, tell me what's up with dudes. Why are dudes like this?
But I thought that older men are more, like, mature and distinguished, and they are more likely to have their shit together. Isn't that true?
I don't know, man.
You didn't? Okay, well, I'm not gonna...
I mean, okay, some of them, if they've lived by themselves for a long time, they have their shit together, like, on a really practical level, right? Where it's like they pay their bills, they have a job, they can maybe, like, cook a couple, like, meals that didn't come from the frozen aisle. But, like, the, like, mental stuff is, like, they don't have that together. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna defend these.
Yeah. No, but seriously, Terry, like, why is it like that? Why is it like this? Like, why are men, like, struggling so hard?
Oh, it's because of the incel thing. No? Well, that's it's just one of the reasons, many reasons why men are kind of being weird nowadays. It's because, you know, like, addicted to porn, addicted to being an incel in your mom's basement. Joe Rogan. Although I do watch Joe Rogan podcast. Yeah.
But I, like, that's the thing I think, like, as much as I hate to center men again, but it's like, why? Like, why are they like this? Like, what is it that, not that I want to be, like, the person that's, like, in charge of providing it for them, but, like, women are getting it together, and, like, how come y'all aren't getting it together?
I mean, I'm really sorry. I think I have been pretty together, though. You know, it's not all of them.
You, but, like, your peers.
Yeah, they seem to be unraveling. Also, there's a thing where Korean and Japanese men, I'm not sure about Chinese men, but they're all, like, very sexless, and they are turning into this very sad group of men, like, stuck in their mom's basement or something.
Okay, I heard about, what is it that Korean, is it called 4B?
What's that?
That, like, Korean movement where, like, these Korean women are just, like, refusing to get married, and they're, like, refusing to do, like, all of these traditional things.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've been reading about, like, just little pieces about, like, the feminist movement in Korea. It's kind of interesting. Like, they were also saying, like, there's that Harvest Festival, right? Like, Korean Thanksgiving. I'm not going to know the name of it. Where traditionally, right, you go back to the husband's family's house, and then like the wife has to just like, and like it's falling off because the women are like, fuck this, I'm not gonna go to like my in-laws' house and get bossed around for a week. Fuck this. So I mean,
I'm all for that. That food is delicious, but.
So do you want to get married? Is that like a thing for you?
I would love to find a, partner.
Are you on the apps?
Nah, I deleted on my apps.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So how do you plan to find a partner?
That's a good question. Naturally?
I know. Everyone says that.
Yeah.
But then all they do is go to sad open mics that are full of men.
Yeah. Sometimes there's women at mics. Well, thank you so much for being here, Crystal. I don't want to keep you too long. You have a busy day. Last question. I wish you continued success in all of your comedy as well as career and romance. If you could send a message to yourself in 5 years, imagine I'm gonna send this to you in 5 years.
Oh my God.
A time capsule, I guess. What would you, say to yourself? Dreams and hopes for the future Crystal too.
Just have fun with it. Don't get in your head about it. Just enjoy the ride.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you, Terry. That was really fun.
Thank you, Crystal.
Yeah.
All right.